This is arguably the worst loan that you can take. It's called a payday loan. They have interest rates over 400% generally. For every $325 that you borrow, you'll pay $540 in interest. 60% of payday loan borrowers say that it later worsened their financial situation. 1 in 5 payday loan borrowers will face legal action, wage garnishments, and other attempts to basically pull the money from them after they haven't been able to pay. This is some, but not all, of the research that I hope will prove to you that you should never, ever, no matter how bad the situation is, take out a payday loan. They are scum of the earth, these people that run these companies, and they're looking to prey on people who are unaware. Thanks.
You have a 2-year-old to take care of. Why are we taking out a payday loan at 260.37% interest rate?
Is that what that is?
You didn't even know? Why'd you borrow $80 at 260%?
I really don't know.
$80. What do you mean you don't
really
know?
do not. After moving, I got really broke.
What does your boyfriend make?
Like 80 something.
A year?
Yeah.
You guys make too much money as a single household. You have to go borrow $80 at 260.37% interest rate.
I just needed the money.
Why do you even find this?
I don't know.
Give me $80now.com?
No. Honestly, I've probably taken out like every payday loan possible.
In Atlanta, that's where you're from.
Yeah. I grew up very poor.
Okay, so prevalent oftentimes in lower income communities are the idea payday loan. Payday loan. It's an idea. It's a concept. Let's do it. Okay, let's do it. This is normal. Just holding you down by 260% instead of what would be a bad credit card interest rate of 30%.
We were approached by a couple companies that do these, I almost want to call them payday loans for businesses. And you get into a bind and you have employees and you're like, I gotta pay my employees, I gotta make sure they have money. And so if people haven't paid you yet, or you're falling a little short in a certain month, and you talk to one of these loan people, they're like, oh yeah, we'll get you 30 grand. You pay back 50 or 45 or whatever it is. It's so expensive, and they want to be paid back in like 12 or 18 months. And the problem with those kinds of loans is you become a slave to them, because even if your cash flow improves significantly after that point, all of a sudden now you have this extra debt servicing, this big payment that you have to make that is so intimidating and just, drains your bank accounts. And they take their money. They've set it up on automatic withdrawals. They take their money and they make sure that you pay them.
All right, so today I want to discuss payday loans. Oh my goodness. Guys. This is, I would say, arguably maybe the most or the worst version of predatory lending, right? Because, again, when somebody goes to borrow money, especially from a payday loan, I mean, you already didn't have the money. You were behind on your finances, right? So, when it comes time for you to satisfy the loan on your next payday or paycheck, right, you really need to use that money for maintaining whatever costs or bills you have in that following week, versus having to satisfy a payday loan, right? So, these people, I would say, are extremely predatory, and their practice, so this type of lending has been banned in, I believe, at least 12 or more states, right? Now, what a lot of people don't know is that there are more payday loan establishments and businesses than McDonald's and Starbucks nationwide, even though they operate in fewer states, right? Make that make sense, and they're getting away with, I would argue, financial murder, because they're offering rates, I believe, at like 391%, right? Interest on some of these loans, right? Even out here in states like Idaho, it can go as high as to like 652%, right? APR, or just interest on a loan. So, I mean, at 390%, they'll say things like, hey, you know, for every $100 you borrow, it's just an additional $15. But what a lot of people don't realize is that $15 adds up really quickly, you know. And say if you borrow like $375, you could end up having to pay back up to like $900, right? Just to satisfy the loan and cover the interest, especially depending on the duration of time that you need to pay it back. Because some people aren't able to satisfy the loan on their next payday. So what do? They take out another loan. And what happens? The fees stack up and add up because you're charged another round of fees and interest, you know? So by the time that interest piles up, you're just, you know, in a lot of financial trouble, you know? And I believe they said that 80% of Americans who borrowed money from payday loan centers felt that, you know, they were worse off after taking the loan out than they were before they took the loan, right? And there's been certain protection set in place for people like military personnel, where you can't charge them more than 36% interest on a payday loan, because how it would affect, you know, their readiness for combat, right? But that doesn't apply to average Americans. You know, it only applies to military personnel, right? So you just want to be extremely careful and cautious when it comes to you taking out a payday loan, right? And I believe the majority of the people who are taking out payday loans happen to be single mothers, people who are or suffered a divorce, and some minority groups, right? So, you know, they're taking advantage of, you know, just low income earning civilians and individuals, you know. And man, the crazy thing is, if you add this type of borrowing, so say you take out a payday loan, and then you might also have a buy here, pay here loan as well on a car, right? Because I would assume that both of these businesses are they're taking advantage of the same consumer group, right? So the same people who would take out a loan for a buy here, pay here would also be the ones who take out a payday loan, right? You know, and that's one of the worst types of borrowing, when you're borrowing money to cover debt, right? Because you're already in trouble financially. And now here it is, you're taking out another loan to cover an already existing loan, you know? So, yeah, I haven't heard many people talking about the payday loans, but man, you know, I would say that these people should be considered as criminals. But, you know, I guess, what does my opinion matter on who's a criminal or not? Guys, let me know your thoughts below on this. You know, have you ever taken out a payday loan? You know, I would definitely like to know how that has affected you and your family. You know, and, you know, I would like to just get a better understanding on, you know, how these people operate. I mean, because what I've read is highly alarming, to say the least. Goodness gracious. You know, there should be a cap on the interest. You know, these people should be allowed to charge, right? You know, especially if, you know, their products or services, you know, are harming the general public, right? I would like to assume that the United States is a nation of laws, right? That applies to everyone, even those who enforce the laws, right? So it's just sad to see, you know, a legitimate business operating this way, you know? I guess I'd like to quote 50 Cent when, you know, he was just speaking about a group of individuals where he said, you know, these are the people who would rob you without giving you the courtesy of showing you the gun, you know? So again, guys, let me know your thoughts below. Like, share, and subscribe. If you agree with me, share comments below. If you disagree with me, also share comments below. Take care, guys.